This is Child Development 74. Okay. All right. So what I did was, let me make this smaller. So this is the modules page, the list of all the modules. And we are down here, and we're supposed to be starting week 8 down here. But I couldn't tell what was going on. And so I added some headers. So your list looks like this. Let me turn it to the student view so you can see it. So what I added today are these lines where it says the date and the assignment, the reading assignment. Because I was confusing myself. So last week was chapter 4. Yeah, it's here. This week is chapter 5 and 6. Next week, there's no reading assignment. You guys see that? Do I need to make it bigger like that? Is that better? So I think that was stressing a lot of people out. Okay? So this week is chapter 5, right here. Next week is chapter 6. And then the week after that, there's no reading assignment. You get a week to catch up before spring break. And then we start again with 1 chapter a week. And then the last couple of weeks, there's no reading. We're just going to be working on our final project. Okay, so does that reduce the stress level a little bit? Any questions about that? No? There's going to be assignments, but I have not created them because this is a brand new class online. And I contacted the last teacher and he did not respond. He's like 85 and he retired. And so I let it go. And so we're starting fresh. And so I was going to talk about our first assignment, the first piece of the final project tonight. And I thought that would help you guys like kind of wrap your minds about what we're doing here. But it's not totally done, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. So I will not be introducing the concepts from chapter 5 today. Next week I'll do both chapters because like I said, I almost canceled tonight, but I didn't want to leave you guys hanging. So what I'm going to talk about, I got to go back to my view here. Oh, loosely view. Okay. I want to talk about what is due here. On April 9th. Okay. So this is the first part of your thing, and there's 4 parts here. And so the first part, you're going to take a look at the environment that you're in or that you're going to choose, like the video, if you plan to use a video. And you're going to look and you can decide on what is not working in that space. What's working and what's not working, right? Let me see here. I can go down to the questions here. So what special needs are working? Okay. Let me make this bigger so you can see it. These are the questions you're going to answer. So you're going to look at your video. And so let me fix this because you guys look like you're straining. So if I go like this and I make myself a spotlight like that, you see? Okay. So so you're going to look at your video and I have some choices for you, or you can look at a real center and you want to decide what you think is working well for that space or that child, whatever you got, whatever supports you know about for that center, or what's in the dossier of the child that you choose, and you decide what's working well. And then number two, you want to think about what's hard, what's not working. So what parts of the day don't work? That's number two. And then number three, you want to kind of guess, or based on what you know, what you've learned so far, why do you think it's not working? And maybe you said, well, in chapter 5, I learned about this thing, and I know it should be this way, and I don't see it in that center, or I don't see it in the dossier, in the IEP. And so that's what needs to be fixed. You see what I mean? And then if you could strengthen one area of practice for children, for that child that you have, that you chose in your dossier, what would it be and why? And then whose support do you need to do that? And then I have an example of what your assignment's going to look like. Okay? So you want to put your name and then answer each question. Special needs supports are working are these. The challenging parts of the day are these and why. I think these are challenging because the support I need is. So please put those headings, because I've seen students just answer all the questions in one big jumble, and because they're not doing very well at answering the questions, it's hard for me to see which part goes to what answer. And this is just helpful for me to grade these more quickly if I see what you meant, what your plan was for your assignment. You guys have any questions about that? So like I said, this isn't quite ready for, it's not quite done yet, but I found 5 videos of centers, and they're here. Let me see if I can. So I'm going to make them so that they fit better on the page and everything. That's the part that's not finished yet. It's not shiny. So there they are. You've got your 4 videos here to choose from. And each video is about 30 seconds long. And it's just a pan. It just slowly moves across the site so you can see everything in the room or everything in the center. Okay? And so what you're going to do is you're going to choose a child from the inclusion works book, and then you're going to choose a center or one of the videos here, and that's the source information for you to answer, to do your project for the final project. Okay? So what part of that is fuzzy or doesn't make sense? You're going to choose a child from the inclusion works book. Then you're going to choose an environment. It can be your own, your real one, or it can be one of the videos, or you can choose a child with special needs from your site, from your if you know one, if you know a real one, you can use a real one. Oh, here, I see something in the chat. Let me see here. Wait a minute. So no one has any questions about that? Okay, yes. No, no. They need to really be a special needs child for real. They can't just be someone you think has problems. Um, yes, yes. I think this class goes up pretty high, like 12-year-old. I gotta make sure. But just make up a fake name, give me the right age, and um, they need an IEP because they need a dossier of information for you to build your project. And so that's why they need to be diagnosed. And if you have a real one, maybe your fix it, maybe your project is designing an interview, writing interview questions that would help you support that family better. I don't know. Like maybe you learned in chapter 10 about or no, I think it's chapter 9 about supporting families, and you decided to write an interview. Or maybe um, I'm trying to think what would be better if you had the real people, because then you could really ask them, right? That would be your project. You write up the things and then ask them for real. Um, if you decided that you were going to change um, the routines for the day, and that would be one for real life, right? Could you use some? Yeah, 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 yeah. So anyway, you're gonna pick a child from the book or one that you work with, and then you're gonna pick one of the videos or one where you work and answer these questions. So this is the first part. So the second part, you're gonna look at the problems that you wrote about, and you're gonna create a plan based on what you learned in this class to solve the problems that you wrote out in this week's assignment or this first assignment. So the first assignment, you talk about what's good and what's bad. The second assignment, you're going to say, this is my plan for fixing what's bad. And then let me see what the third part is. The third part is um, make it happen. I can't remember. It's been so long. Oh, and then you pretend about, you're going to write it up. You're going to write up a 2-page summary about, oh, I lost my place here. A 2-page summary about what changes you decided to do and whether or not it worked and what went wrong in when you were implementing your plan, and what do you need to keep the new plan going. So for example, let's say your new plan was to have student success meetings, and so something you need to keep going would be funding for substitutes to cover your classroom. You see what I mean? But that's in a month from now. So we have time. It's it's not ready. That's what I mean. It's not. It still needs work. But I just wanted to explain it to you all so that when it is finished, you'll know what I'm talking about. So let me see. So what I can do is, yeah, it's linked to a wrong class right now. So all I've got is the one page. I can show it again. And I can put it where the questions are. Okay, does that help? Oh, I just lost it. See, my something's wrong with my desktop. And somehow I got my stuff on the wrong. Somehow I have more than one desktop. Okay, so like I said, this is due, it's far away. It's due April 9th. Okay, so in a month. It's not posted. It's not posted. That's the problem. Um, soon. I was gonna do it today, and I'm just not close enough. See, I've got all these wrong videos in here, and so that's what I was talking about. I was gonna make it shiny. I put one in here. This one is the one, but this picture is not the right one. And see, it's not loading. Yes, but like I said, it's due in a month, so you have time. And I have the rubric is here. I can't remember how long it was supposed to be. No, this is not the right rubric. Yeah, that's not the right one. I have to go get it. Um, I can pull it up for, hold on a minute. Any other questions? Yes, yes. Because I feel the stress level raising, and so let me pull up that rubric. Oh, you guys, this one doesn't have a rubric, so I'm gonna have to make one. Let me see if the second one has a rubric. The second one has a rubric. So let me think about this. I think it's gonna be pretty simple, like those kinds of assignments that I do when there's like you write 3 sentences per question. It's not a big thing. It's not a big assignment. I want you to spend all your time doing the thinking and learning and analyzing and not very much writing. But I do need you to be specific. And I need you to reference things that you learned in this class. So that's another reason why I'm hesitant to publish the assignments early, because I have people turning them in early without cracking the book or learning anything. And so I need you to show me that you learned something from this class. Okay, Anne Marie, do you have any questions? Is there a part that doesn't make sense still? Okay, so, oh, I see what you mean. Okay, that's good. Well, in general, I always put, whenever I do publish an assignment, I give you everything you need to complete it. And so, like, because you see how I even make a little picture of what your assignment should look like if you turned it in. So I do my best to give you every little piece so that you wouldn't need to talk to me to know what to turn in. But I see a question here. It says, are we going to write an IEP for a child? No, no, not the final project. The final project, you're going to answer these 4 questions and turn that in a month. So you have 4 weeks to answer 4 questions. And then 3 weeks after that, you're going to turn in you're going to turn in a plan for what you want to fix, a specific plan. So this is the part where people go off the rails, not the first assignment, it's the second one. Because I say, give me a plan, and they'll go, well, I'm going to offer activities to this child that are good for autistic children. And they won't say what activities, and they won't say why you're choosing them for that specific child because you observed something in their dossier or like, and so because you learned this in the class, right? So you need to be talking about stuff that you learned from the class to address the special needs of the child that you chose. Okay? And then, so the second assignment, like I said, you're going to write out your plan. And then the third assignment is the implementation. And if you're faking it, you're going to say, this could happen, and this could go wrong, but I'm going to do this so that in case that happens, I'll be ready. And then the fourth part of the assignment is where you show up on finals day and you read your plan that you turned in 3 weeks before that to the group. So you have a whole bunch of time to work on it and a whole bunch of time to fix it if you did it wrong. Okay, so you're going to choose a child from the Inclusion Works book because they come with dossiers. They come with a backstory, right? Because with special needs children, you need a lot of information, right? You need their history and whatever's wrong with them and how many years of therapy they've had and blah, 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 right? So that is all there. And so I'm trying not to recreate the wheel. So there's plenty of information in there for each child for you to choose from. So you choose a child and you choose an environment. So I should change it around and say, no, I don't want to change it around. We're going to leave it how it is. I was going to say, it's a new student. What are you going to do? But that makes it extra complicated where it doesn't need to be complicated. So you take what you know about that child and you apply that child, to the environment that you choose. And so I'm giving you 4 choices, or you can use the real environment that you work in. And let's say you're the baby teacher, but you want to use the preschool. So just use the preschool. You see what I mean? So you could choose an Inclusion Works kid and use your own preschool room. If there's no kids with IEPs at your school, you could do it that way. Because I want this to be useful for you. And so the best way to make it most useful is if you're using children in your group and the classroom where you work. But let's say you're not working yet. You're gonna have to do some pretending and imagining. And let's say you're working, but there's no kids with IEPs there. Because there's no support, right? They don't have any connections to getting children what they need. And so maybe that's your plan. Maybe you're going to write the plan for getting the support that school needs. Whatever. I don't know. But I'm trying to make it as real life as possible, even for people who aren't working yet. And yes, Yes, and so they must have like paperwork or something in their file about what their speech delay is. And so what you do is you copy it, but you cross out their name so nobody sees their information. So you go to your director or your head teacher or whatever, and you say, "Can I cross out his name and copy this piece of paper from my class?" And they should say yes if you're crossing out all the names and addresses and everything. Well, because you're going to need to tell me who you're going to use, right? And so I'm gonna need to know about that. No, these videos are empty rooms. That's what I'm saying. There are no there's just like one or two disabled children on video in public videos. And it's not a good, it's like two toddlers. It's not a wide enough range of disabilities for to be a good example. Um, you pick a dossier from Inclusion Works. You pick one of those children in the book. Yeah, I can't remember if there's four in there or five. How many are in there? There's several. There's more than one. Oh, there's four. Okay. So just pick from one of those because, like I said, you need a lot of information about the child and their family and their support system, and so that's hard to make up. But on the other hand, if you tell me they're from your center and you have all that information, you could make it up. How would I know, right? I do have students make stuff up. I'm like, did that really happen? And they're like, yeah, yeah. This one, just this week, I read an observation because all my classes, I have everybody do observations. They said a 10-year-old almost was tearing up, was bursting into tears because they were playing a board game that was too hard. And like 10-year-olds don't burst into tears over board games. So, let's if you are making stuff up, let's keep it within the realm of a real kid. Oh, that's a good one. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up. Okay. All right. So, any other questions? Oh, okay. Yeah, they don't have to. They don't have to tell you. Um, well, what you can say is, and I'm going to have to rewrite this assignment because I need to ask you for a little bit more information, and I'm gonna look at the format in the Inclusion Works book, and I'm gonna pull out specific things that you need to know, and so you can say to your head teacher, whoever, this is the stuff I need to know. I'm in the special needs class. And then you guys can pick a kid, any kid in your school, and write down the information. Does that sound easier? Yeah, yeah. I don't want you taking stuff out that I don't want you doing anything without someone's permission. Yeah, yeah. As you know, if you just say if you say you're taking this class and they'll be happy to help you. They want you to be better with their children, right? Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yes. Sometimes they get very excited and they'll go out of their way to give you information. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So always, always let people know what you're doing. We're like lifelong learners, right? And as long as we're doing our best to do better by the children in our care, people are going to cooperate with you. They want you to do better too. Just don't give me a real name. Don't give me, oh, they live in San Francisco. I don't need to know. I don't need to know. You could say they live 5 miles from the center. They live 50 miles from the center. Because that does factor into how they show up at school. If they had to be in the car for an hour, they're not going to be in a good mood, right? Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff. Or they have to be restrained. They have to be restrained for an hour. Yeah. So anyway, that's good information, right? How far away do they live? I don't need to know the exact city. And so I appreciate you guys telling me that. I'll come up with um, I'll look at the inclusion what works more carefully. They don't give you that many. I think there's like 6 sentences or something. It's not very long, but it is enough for you to get a good idea. And so I'll try to do what I can to make it useful information for you. Um, any other questions about that? Is there something that I'm missing? No. I'll make sure to put the age range. I have to check the class. I think, does this class go up to 8 or is it 15? Do you guys know? No. This is this is not just a preschool class on special needs. It goes up to a certain age of kid, and I'm not sure what that age is. It's either 8 or 12 or 15 or something. It's not 5 years old. So you might have a kid at an after school program that you want to work on. Maybe they got kicked off the bus. Bigger kids get into bigger trouble. Um, oh, it's probably 8 then. Yeah. Well, let me give you an example. So if you say they live an hour away from the center and they're 2 years old, and I show you this room, this toddler room, you might decide to put in a self-serve breakfast bar right by the door so they can eat as soon as they get there. I don't know. But you're going to say, well, in this chapter, in chapter whatever, I learned about this, and we talked about this, this, and this, and we learned from the teaching pyramid, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to do the blah, 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 right? I want you to notice what's going right and what's going wrong. And then I want you to address something that's going wrong. Well, we've got like at least 6 weeks to talk about it and learn some stuff, right? And then put it all together. And usually, these types is when you separate it out instead of integrating it. Usually, you have a parent of a special needs child come in and talk about their experience. Um, and I don't necessarily have that. I mean, I can talk from my perspective as a foster parent of special needs children. But it's always nice to the hear a real parent of a special needs child. So, is anyone in this class open to doing that if they have a special needs child of their own to speak from the parent's perspective? Let me see here. Is that something that you're willing to do? Well, usually you talk about how your child was diagnosed and what you felt it like inside, so you can share it with these new teachers so they can um, learn to become passionate for the families and be understanding. So if they hear the real story from someone real, it's easier to connect and empathize. No, later I'll send you some questions ahead of time, and we can have like a little. It'll be like a podcast, right? Because we're all virtual. That'd be great. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's always good to hear from a real parent, their real experience of how, I don't know, like all the tests they had to do and what their child had to go through, because it's not easy. It's not something that they just snap into doing and knowing what to do. And so this is the perfect place for us to learn. And again, develop that empathy and see how similar our stories are with even when we do get children with diagnosis with a diagnosis. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else who wants to volunteer? Yes. Okay. So let me look at the book. Let me look at the book. Well, inclusion works like half the second half of the book is scenarios, right? The inclusion works book. Now I can't even find it on my computer. I know it's in here. I know it's in the class. Let me see here. So I'm going to go back to week 1 overview and pull out that book. Okay, week 1. Or week 2. This one started on the wrong thing. Inclusion works. This book? So let's see how many there are. The other book? Right. But now I'm lost. Now I don't even see those scenarios. Yes. So where'd they go? 7. Bees. There's 8. 8. Oh no, wait. There's 9 because there's 2 6s there. Yeah. So there's you have quite a few to choose from. So let me show you there. So that's why I added those headers. So now it's all going to make sense in your head now. Let me make sure here. Okay, so what I did was I added the reading assignments here, Inclusion Works, whole book, week 2 and 3. And then here, week 4 and 5, here's the dates, and here's the chapters. Cook, chapter 1 and 2. And then the next one here. Here's the dates. Last week, chapter 4. There's just 2 books. There's Inclusion Works, and then the cookbook is the rest of the class. This is Cook, chapter 5 and 6. So Cook is the author of the Adapting special needs classrooms, or whatever the title is. The author is named Cook. And so I just added these headings because it was so confusing. And so you've got the date, you've got the week, you have the topic, and you have the chapter. And then the next one down here, week 10, no reading assignment. And so I published all of those so you can see them. And then the next one, spring break is there, and then week 11 and 12, chapter 7 and 8. And the next one is chapter 9 and 10. And so now it should be more clear about what you're supposed to be doing while you're waiting for Landy to post all the assignments. Right? Because I keep telling you guys, I keep saying, just keep doing the reading, just keep doing the reading. And you're like, well, what reading, right? Oh, there you go. So the first 2 weeks was the other book. Yes, the first 2 weeks was the other book, because so I had you read the free download while you ordered the other book. And so and each book, they each have good things about them. They're not really the same book. That one I just showed you is on Canvas. It's in week 1 overview. So any child from chapter 7 in Inclusion Works, or you can choose a real child from your center. Okay, hold on a minute. Let me get it again. I appreciate whoever told me it was chapter 7. Let me find it here because I'm on the wrong thing here. Yes. Well, we're using both at the same time. We're doing some integrating here. So let me mhm. Okay, so it starts at page 57. Here I can show you here. 57 to 86 are where all the things are. Okay, any other questions about that? This is from Inclusion Works. So page 57 to 86 are all the different children to choose from. So each one of these strategies here is is a child, a real child. And I don't think they're not hyperlinked. So I have to go. Let me see what page these are. 80, it says 81, right? Let's see here. Oh, this is strategy 5. See, it's got a name, a setting, an age. Sound familiar? All of you learning story people? And then the background. The background is what is missing, what I is the part that I need. And then the services right here. Big long stories about their services. And then the strategies that they have so far. And so maybe you can build on these, or maybe you can say, this strategy is not working anymore. I want to do this one instead. And then some factors here. And that's it. Okay, so you're going to choose one of these children and you're going to give me their name because it's a fake name anyway. This one's Jessie. No, this is I'm showing people where it is in the book because it's too I'm talking too conceptually and people don't know what I'm talking about. So this is literally in the book. See how they have numbers? And so you want to pick one of them. There's 9 to choose from. This one is Carlos. And see this one they put stuff on the scissors. Yes. Yes. Nope. Nope. Page number, this is page 63. That's not the right page. So anyway, it goes 1 to 9 and you can pick what you want. And some are in centers, some are family child care homes. You get to choose. Okay, any other questions? So did this make it worse or did this make it easier? Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. I'm gonna I'm gonna make my questions align with the Inclusion Works book so you can literally copy and paste it in. And then it'll be more work if you want to do real people. I guess I'll say it like that. because you'll have to either make up the stuff or find out the stuff depending on how real you want to go. I used to hate taking classes and have to make up stuff. Like I took the curriculum class and I asked for special permission to do an infant project instead of the preschool project. Stuff like that. Why, if you're in a baby classroom, why are you doing stuff about preschool? So I want it all to be useful for you guys. Any other questions about that? No? Okay, I'm going to work really hard to get this stuff up on Canvas. But like I said, it took me like half the day today to just figure out what goes on what week. I think it's because since we use 2 books, the chapters don't align with the chapter for the semester, and so it was throwing me. But you all know what to do, right? And so it looks like we have 17 classes, 17 weeks, and that's just because we started in the second week of school instead of the first week of school. Because the first day of school was a Wednesday or something like that. And so it looks like we have too many weeks. But that's just the way the calendar worked. Okay? Yes, it's resonating. Yes, it's coming together in your head. Very good. Yeah. Well, that's. Wait a minute. Say that again. Are you saying chapter 7 is the same as week 7? Is that what you're saying? Yes, that's the point. I'm pulling out. I look at what the book says that you're supposed to learn from that chapter, and then I list it there just straight out of the book, and then I look at that and I say, what's missing? What else do they need to know? And then I add something if there's more that I could add. But I'm basically following the book. So I'm glad you noticed that it's what you're reading. Yay. Uh-huh. Effective. Oh, so I'll go back and look at that. Is it about curriculum being integrated? Is it that part? Yes, I put extra stuff in there about play, stuff that's not in the book. That was me saying, I think this part's missing. I think they could benefit from this other stuff. And I did that because a lot of times people think play-based means you stand there and you watch them play. You put the toys out and you watch them play. And say, no, no, no. There's a lot going on. And so that's what we're learning about. Okay, wow. Taking it deep. I like that. I like that. You're thinking about it, you're being reflective, you're developing your reflective practice as a teacher, as a professional. That's very good. Did you see that? Did you see what I just did? That's a PDA. I was specific about the great thing that she did that I want her to keep doing. Okay, anything else? Any other questions? You guys can, you can like, y- um, well, I went and I looked, and the one you were asking about wasn't posted yet. And so I posted it today, and it's week 7. Is it a video that I made myself, or is it a YouTube video? Hmm. For, for week 7? Chapter 4. Okay. So hold on a minute, and I can I'm really struggling with this. I hear some helpers. Get some helpers with you. Okay, chapter. You said week 4, because I know Nancy was asking me about week 1. Oh, I see what you mean. The literal page has not been published. Is that what you mean? Um, it's not published because there's something wrong with it. Let me see what's wrong with it here. It looks good. I don't know why. Oh, there's some empty ones. I still need to fill it up. Yes, it needs to be finished. It's an empty canvas page right now. Like I just expanded the tabs and they're all empty. That's why it's not published. So it needs to be done. So while I work on that, now we can all find our place in Canvas. And you all know what to do, right? So as you're reading, um, read um, you can just read the information and learn it, or you could be reading with your special needs child in mind about how you can help them. It's up to you and how you learn and what would work better for you. Sometimes it's easier to learn something if you have it somebody in mind, right? Yes. Yes. So it'll get posted soon. It'll get posted soon. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So um even if you are an expert in one thing, you're not an expert in another thing, right? Because we can't be experts in everything. And so there's something that all of us can learn from this class. You might there's near the end of the book is about teamwork and working in a team to support children, and maybe that's the part that you take away from this class, and maybe that's what you focus your project on because you know already about the child's disability, and so you might focus on something different, or maybe you focus on developing an advocacy campaign to take to Sacramento to get more funding for children like this or whatever. I don't know. I do see that. I see, especially family child care providers, they shut down their child care and do advocacy work. I do see that a lot, actually. So you never know. All right. Anything else? No? Okay, I'm going to turn off the recording.